Hey guys, welcome to my channel once again, and welcome to another video on the midwifery OSCE. In today's video, we'll be looking at the silent stations of the evidence-based practice and the professional values. So there are different scenarios you could get under those two, but the approach to them is the same. So I think we'll just be making everything in one video, since it's literally the same acronym to do that. So like always, I have the assessment criteria here, and then we'll just go through the assessment criteria together, and then I'll show you the acronym I used when I was preparing for my exam and how you can apply it to whatever scenario that you get. I hope you find value in this video. Without wasting so much time, we're just gonna go right into it. So first off, we'll do that of the evidence-based practice. And for the evidence-based practice, like I mentioned in the first video, the overview, where I mentioned what scenarios you could possibly get under that one. You could have induction of labor, you could have place of birth, you could have feeding choices, you could have obstetric anal injury. What's that topic? I think that one was inside the mock question. Those are like 4 different scenarios that we could possibly get, but the marking criteria has induction of labor and place of birth. One in the mock is definitely not those two, so that's to also let you know that it's possible that you get something else that is not just place of birth and induction of labor, and that's why it's important for you to know the approach to do it. So for the induction of labor, summarizes the main findings of the article summary and draws conclusion, making recommendations for practice, recognizes the importance of building a respectful and trusting relationship, acting in the best interest at all times, provides clear, balanced information regarding the risks and benefits of induction of labor versus expectant management to facilitate an informed choice, recognizes individual circumstances relating to transition to parenthood, positive family attachment and bonding, recognizes the importance of advocating for the woman's choice and works in partnership with the woman and the MDT as required to support the woman's choice. And lastly, it says recognizing that the woman should receive individualized care that promotes and optimizes normal physiological processes. If you compare what I just read for the induction of labor at term, the marking criteria, if you compare it with that of the place of birth, you would actually see that they are very similar. The only difference is probably the 1B that stated that the birthplace options, the place of birth, to make an holistic decision. So it's literally going to be the same if you have to do feeding choices. The 1B is literally the only thing that you would modify to suit whatever scenario that you get in your exam. For example, we know what the scenario is going to be like. So for example, this is the scenario for the obstetric anal sphincter injury. At the bottom, you have what the article summary is. What exactly are we doing at this station? What am I writing? Okay, so I'm thinking, let's just do the evidence-based practice first. If this video is not too long, we'll add the professional values at the end, and if it is too long, we'll probably do the professional values in another video, if that's okay. So for the evidence-based practice now, what exactly do we need to do? The acronym I have used is RCHTIP. RCHTIP. So the R is builds rapport with the woman. The R is rapport. R is rapport. So however way you want to expand your rapport is totally up to you. But I would say, and I wrote in my exam, that I would build rapport with the woman. I would introduce myself to her. I would ensure she gains trust in me. And then I would also ensure that she's treated with respect, kindness and dignity. Because if you don't do all of these things to this person, the person might not want to open up to you. So those are things I expanded the R to be. So R is basically relationship building, rapport, however way you want to put it, however way you remember, but that is what R is. So in this case now, Well, we've established that it is a criteria. It doesn't mean that it has to be in that order. So the R in this case is just ticking the 1B that says recognizes the importance of building a respectful and trusting relationship, acting in the woman's best interest at all times. So if you can do your house, state that you build rapport, you have 1 point ticked already. And then the next thing is C, the C. C is the next acronym. I said the acronym I used was RCHTIP. C is communicate. So what are we communicating in this case? We are communicating the findings of the articles to the woman to help her to make an informed choice. That is what I put the C to be. So in that case, you're communicating findings of the research. So let's use the example of this obstetric anal sphincter injury. You're working in the community. You have an appointment with Hannah, who is 36 weeks pregnant with her second baby. She had her venous delivery last time, and she read about how to prevent perineal trauma during birth. She wants to talk to you about it, whether the midwife can manually protect her perineum at the end of the second stage of labor to prevent trauma. And here is the article on the bottom. So you just go through the article and then you pick points that are relevant to what Anna is raising concerns about. So this cohort study is on here, and they've said the study involved the application of an intervention in 40,152 vaginal deliveries in Norway between 2003 and 2009. The intervention was manual support of the perineum at the end of the second stage of labor, which is exactly what the woman is asking for. So what information are you communicating? You tell them what the study found. The study has found that the incidence of anal sphincter reduced from 4 to 5 to 1 to 2 during the study, which means they were guarding the perineum and that's reduced. So that is definitely a fact and figure you want to communicate to the woman. You want to communicate that finding. In as much as you're writing communicate findings, you want to state what finding you're communicating exactly at that point. So you could say, I will communicate findings such as that 4 to 5. You paraphrase whatever fact and figure that you have gotten. And if you think that paraphrasing doesn't work very well for you, you don't know how to paraphrase it, you could just put it in brackets and just still state it out, like you're reporting what that study says verbatim, something like that. The other thing, they said the study also found that the incidence of perineal trauma reduced in both instrumental deliveries and spontaneous vaginal deliveries. The scenario already told us she had a venous delivery, which means that this is an information she would also be interested in. So you want to include that in the findings, in the information you want to pass to her. Reduction in 4-degree tears was most significant in the study, and intervention had no harmful effects on the newborn. So it looks like virtually all the findings of this study would be relevant to this woman at this time, but depending on your time and ability to put everything together, just ensure that you're communicating important facts and figures from the study, from whatever study that you have. You're communicating it to this woman. You have to state it in your writing. And then it's been one thing that's been coming to my mind before we go on to the next thing is, please and please, as easy as it seems like you can arrange these things in your head that, oh, I know how to write it, before you exam, ensure that you have like a proper, this is my silent station, time yourself and see how you are able to express all you need to express in writing within the time frame, such that you think you're fine, and then you eventually get into the exam hall, and before you even finish writing your second or your third point, it's time up already. Like, you really don't want that to happen to you. Ensure that you practice it. You do have a hands-on, like sit down and write it out, that silent station. So the next point is H, and the H is holistic care. So what I've put the H to be is holistic care. So what that means is I will ensure holistic care while supporting the woman in question, whatever scenario. So whatever scenario you get, if it's in the case of this woman with the obstetric anal sphincter injury, you support her like holistically. You'd ensure that her previous history, her past history, her current history is all put together to make a decision about her. You ensure that you You ensure that you're providing holistic care. Basically, you're considering, in another case, I think there was one other scenario I came across when I was preparing. This woman had a 3-year-old at home. Okay, I think that was for place of birth. She had a 3-year-old at home and she would love to probably have a baby at home, but she had a previous cesarean, but she would probably love to have a baby at home, but she's worried about childcare. So in that case, holistic care is going to involve, as much as you're taking care of the woman, you are also being considerate of that a 3-year-old that she's worried about. So like holistic care is like you're not just focusing on that one thing, you're considering the other factors that are involved. In the case of I think one of the evidence-based practices is also VBAC, someone that would like a VBAC rather than a repeat cesarean section. So there will be the research, the finding, the study. So you just pull out relevant details and adapt it to the situation. So that is what the H is about. I don't know if anybody gets what I'm trying to say. And then the next thing is T. The T for me could be different things, but it's going to be peculiar to the situation. But I've used the T because it's very related to the place of birth, very related to the place of birth. Just like the marking criteria says, it says that transition to parenthood, positive family attachment and bonding. What you're doing here is you're providing other support for her and not just what she's come for. I think that is very closely linked to providing the holistic care that we mentioned earlier. But in this case, you're focusing on involving every other person around her, how to help her transition to parenthood. For someone who is concerned about place of birth, you let them know that irrespective of where she chooses to have a baby, irrespective of the place, that there would be support to help her transition to parenthood. There will be groups, there will be resources to teach her on family attachment and bonding. Another point you might want to mention here is you can signpost her to support groups if she's interested. So that's another point that I added, like how what you're just trying to, however way you want to put that, is like anything you would do to help them, to make life easier for them. So sphincter injury, whatever, you would let them know that irrespective of like whether she chooses to actually tell the midwives to gather perineum manually or not, she will still transition to parenthood. There is support available for her. It is up to her to do whatever she wants to do, like she's in charge. Like there are support groups to encourage her, there are resources that you can provide, there are resources you can signpost her to. Those are things you want to mention. And then the next one is involve the MDT. That's the high, involve the MDT, and that is one of the criteria here. To involving the MDT is whatever decision they make, you're involving the most disciplinary team. And then you're not just involving them, you are advocating for her. You are also advocating for her, like so that our choices are considered and anything they do is in her best interest. So if she says she wants them to gather perineum and the MDT is saying no, it is not right for us to gather perineum, you would be the one advocating for her. You will state on that I would advocate for the mom's choice, whatever choice she makes. And then if it is a place of birth, you would say to explore home birth. If it is the obstetric anal sphincter injury, to have a perineum manually guarded. If it is a feeding choice, you say to support her to feed according to the choice she wants. If it is induction of labor, support her to explore induction if she wants to or not. So like at that point, you are advocating for the choice that the person has made, and then you're relaying this to the MDT, and then you are also letting them know how they are working in the person's best interest. And then the last one is P. The P for me was promote and optimize physiological processes. So that one is basically that you're encouraging physiological processes as much as possible. You're not you're drawing back from intervening as much as possible. Like if there is something you can do physically and you let the body do its thing, then why not do that thing? Like you would rather go for that thing than something else, something like that. Then other points you might want to add, if you have the time, would be you would use the situation as a form of reflection to improve your own practice. That is one thing you might want to do. Another thing you might want to include would be you would document an incident report of the situation of the incident, and then you debrief and support. That's pretty much what the evidence-based practice station is. For the professional values, I think we'll have to do that in another video because this video is long already. I hope you find this video helpful. If you did, please let me know in the comment section. Like, comment and share, guys, please. I think I should start begging now because liking, commenting and sharing, it helps the algorithms, it helps the engagement on the video, and it helps YouTube to suggest the video to other people. So if you can, we'll be glad. If you see me again in my next video, I remain your darling Omobeejay. Remain in God and God bless you. Bye.